What's up, Bankers?
Simply lovely, Vankers. Simply lovely.
Oh, you're leading with that, huh? You're leading with that. Woo!
Wow. Woo!
Yeah, I was pumped up. You know, the race sucked, but I was like pumped up to do this podcast for some reason. I was thinking about everything. I was at Trader Joe's, at Silver Lake Trader Joe's, with my shopping cart, thinking about the race, thinking about what I was going to say. And then I realized, Brian, I was pushing an empty cart for like 8 minutes. Just pushing an empty cart around the Silver Lake off Hyperion.
You were like the McLaren for the first half of the season, dude. Just like not ready for, just a little bit overwhelmed by the moment, and
they're
kind of
still overwhelmed by the moment, and we'll get into it. They're still overwhelmed.
Turn one, schmurn one, dude. Who cares about losing the lead
Lando,
on every
who do you think
start?
we're racing? Who do you think we're racing, Lando? Just finger to the wind. Now, what's your vibe today? You trying to win or what? What are we thinking? Are we going to try? And Lando's like, I think I'm going to try to win the race, right, guys? Don't we want to? Isn't that the point of this thing of having the best car on the grid is winning the fucking race?
That was crazy.
And it's like, does Lando have all the data? Does he know who's behind? Is someone coming up behind is Leclerc all of a sudden hit the NOS button? How is he supposed to know what's happening back there? You're the guy with the Matrix.
Lando's going to be like, well, Leclerc's doing a 25, sector 1, so obviously we're going to be racing Leclerc in 15 laps. I don't fucking know, dude. I'm just trying to fucking win this race, goddammit.
He's literally me when I'm 8 years old. I raced the guy in front of me.
They are a little bit like, the monkeys on the spaceship, a little bit.
You know what they are? They're the dogs that caught the fire truck, like we said before. But you know what they're more like? They're more like, remember that the night at the Roxbury is these guys, they never get laid. They're always doing pickup lines. They never get laid. And then there are these women that are like
set up for that. It's a sure thing.
It's a sure thing. They're going to have sex. And those women take them home and they're literally taking their clothes off. Yeah. And Will Ferrell and Chris Kattan can't stop hitting them with pickup lines.
Yeah.
Is that a mirror in your pants? Because I could see myself in them. And it's like the women are like, what are you doing? Like, we're taking your clothes. Like, it's happening. It's happening. Guys, it's happening right now. It's happening right now, and you guys are still hitting greatness with the pickup lines. Greatness is in bed with you right now. Are you going to start fucking or what?
Yeah, dude. But today, in past races, it was, there was other stuff. Today, 22.8 seconds. Today was alarming. But listen, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into so much more. This episode is brought to you by our friends at BetMGM. They are our presenting sponsor. We're thrilled to be back with them. And before we get into this full episode, we got to thank our daddies of the pod. And, of course, our honorary daddy every week. We got 2 this week, actually 3. Nicole Piastri. Also, huge shout out to Hattie Piastri and Tim, baby, and Tim for doing the Apple dance, blowing up TikTok, wearing our merch, wearing Alex's brat, Yuki's brat, Oscar's brat. Go get your the brat summer's not fucking over, so go to theredflagspod.com and get your brat shirts today. Be like Hattie Piastri and Nicole and Tim, dude. All right.
Yeah, I woke up to that and I was like, I don't care what happens in this race. Nothing is beating this.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
Everything that happens after this is gravy.
Yeah, today was beautiful. We're really like influencing the culture. We are, dude. Like
we're really on the fringes. We're the king of the fringe right now.
Well, within the F1, in the F1 fringes, yeah, but now it's kind of like, it's what's happening in the pop moment, It's Sabrina. Before it was Taylor Swift, right? Mainstream.
Yeah. Oh, are we about to draw a straight line from Taylor Swift to us? Is that what's happening?
No. I'm saying F1, Taylor Swift, mainstream. Yeah. And all these kind of pop girlies have kind of sprouted up. Charlie XCX with Brat. Chappell Roan.
Yeah.
Fucking Sabrina Carpenter. The girls on the fringe kind of all of a sudden surrounded the fucking village taking it for their own, and that's what we're kind of doing with the Piastri family, one Piastri at a time. A huge shout out to them. It's surreal. It's surreal.
Yeah. That episode I think that we did with Nicole is outperforming Daniel Ricciardo. So that's just everything you need to know about like
on pace.
Where the power lies. Yeah. Where the power lies. You work so hard. You get these amazing sponsors. You get to be in the paddock. You interview Daniel Ricciardo. You're like bucket list achieved. And then you interview Oscar's mom, and it's way bigger in terms of just the reception you're getting and the impact.
Yeah,
but
it's 7 sevens across the fucking slot machine.
Yeah, exactly.
We thought we hit the jackpot. Yeah. No. It's all, we just had to go to the members of.
I don't want to blow ourselves too much, but I just want to get into like success and like how success is achieved and metabolized, because we're talking about, McLaren is in this position where success is there. It's palpable. It's been floating around.
Right.
And now success is like, all right, well, we're just going to fuck because you're not making any moves. So I'm going to give you a good enough car that you can't possibly fuck this up. But I think this is something I felt for a long time, which is like having been on the outside of like what I felt like is the restaurant of success, like looking in.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it feels like once you're in, and like I've had some good things happen to me outside of the pod's been doing well, but like outside of the pod. And it's just been like when you're in there, you like want it so bad. And then you get in the restaurant and they're like, okay, you need to eat everything on the menu right now.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not necessarily like right this way, sir. Your table's right here. What do you want from the menu? It's like, you got to eat it all now. Cause by the way, it might never happen again. It's almost like a bank robbery, like where, the alarm's going and you got to get and you almost can't enjoy it because you got to grab the money, the greatness before the cops, which is reality, which is cause this is your moment. It felt like the last couple races, the safe was open. The alarm was sprung. The cops are coming, and they're like, and it's like, get the money, dude. Yeah. Grab the money. Stop thinking and grab the fucking money, which is what Red Bull have done the past couple of years, which is like they grabbed all the fucking money, and now the cops, which are their other cars, are are dragging them away. But guess what? They got a lot of fucking money.
They did,
and that's and Max, that was kind of a heist. 2021.
Yep.
It was, he didn't wait. He didn't think about the alarm. He saw the safe was open a crack. He fucking whipped it open and he got the maximum amount of money out of that safe.
Yeah. And McLaren's like, well, there's rubies and then there's gold and then there's just cash. Which do I, it's just like, just grab it. How much is gold worth by the ounce? Or should I get platinum? Like, let's look at what it's trading at. What are the
They're
market
really
trends?
Overthinking. We're really overthinking it. And I think, and it's interesting. It's like, and how you metabolize victory and like how you accept it. It's sometimes it's easier to be outside the restaurant or outside the bank being like, oh man, if I was just in that bank or, but it's like, bitch, you're in the safe. You're in the vault now. What are you going to do? Right. Or if I just had an opportunity to meet that girl, well, now she's standing right in front of you. What are you going to say? Right? Like you actually have that opportunity. And I think, and then when you are getting the money, like how you behave when you're gathering the money. Yeah. And I think what's interesting is like Max, for all of his terrorism, like to get the money,
right?
After like a successful heist, what does he say? He says, simply lovely. He keeps it. Like, this is how he's chosen to metabolize the greatness. Yeah. He's like, you know what? I got my money. I'm going to be cool. I'm going to keep my hat down. I'm going to walk. I'm not going to run. I'm just going to play it cool. There was this great moment when he won in 2021, which I felt was like, and I'm not saying he wasn't a terrorist in that series. He was, but there was this amazing moment where he was being surrounded by all of his mechanics and teammates and everybody on the Red Bull squad, and they were singing "We Are the Champions." They were just screaming, and he was drunk, and they were like, "We are the champions." And when they got to the "No Time for Losers," he put his finger up and was just like, "Don't say it."
Mm-hmm.
Because he wanted to win with class. Even in the most, like, you can say what you want about the Abu Dhabi of it all, but like after it was over, he said, "You know what? I'm just going to be magnanimous and classy about this." And his whole Simply Lovely is like the way he chooses to do that.
Right.
And then Lando, who's been fumbling around this whole season, wins one race where he won by 20 seconds. Like, this car is so much better than every other car. And then he hits him with the Simply Lovely. Could you imagine if Max did some like haterade type shit? Like how much hate he would get, but everyone's like, "Ooh, Lando serving cunt." Like, it's like, dude, you won one race. I don't know. I was a little like shocked by that behavior.
I was certainly shocked by it.
Like, shocked in a pleased way, or shocked in like,
I don't know. I was, it'll either, here's the thing, clearly you were shocked in a not pleased way. Jury's out with what I'm shocked with it about, because either this will be like, this was a statement win. This was a 22-second win, statement win. Whether you can say, "Oh, well, he had the car." Listen, Oscar Piastri.
Have the car.
We love Oscar Piastri. We love Oscar Piastri. He couldn't get by George Russell today in that same car. So it wasn't.
I don't remember that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Listen, Oscar's going to have his day. But it wasn't today. That Simply Lovely.
I don't understand.
What your time
point is.
will show. My what I'm saying is that
Lando is 20 seconds faster than Max. I think he's got a better car. I think he's got a much better car.
Time will reflect what that moment means, because it could be like, you had it in that one day and then you continue to fumble the bag. But if Lando continues to dominate the rest of the season, then it's ice cold. Then it's cold-blooded. But
he's already fumbled the bet. It's already kind of like he would have to win every single race. Max would have to. Well, Max might not fit, but he's got to basically win every single race.
Well, he's got to.
Has he shown you anything that suggests that he has the consistency?
Today he won by 22 seconds.
Today.
I understand.
It's Lando coin. We're living in this world where it's Lando coin, and 1 second it's way the fuck up here. The next second he's dog shit. And is Oscar Piastri the future WDC? It's like, it's all over the map. And today Lando coin has skyrocketed. And I'm just saying, let's leave Lando coin somewhere in the middle, which is, where I think it should be.
Well, I'm back on my, let's run the numbers kind of fucking craziness.
You said he was dead as a doornail last week.
You know what? And I was saying that in order to motivate him. It's called reverse psychology. He has 70 points behind Max right now. Now, there's 9 races left. There are 3 sprint races left as well. It is... Gunter's been saying it all along. We've been like, Gunter, this fucking thing's dead as a fucking doorknob. Who knows? Part of the calculation for why I was thinking that this thing was done was because it was like, all these cars are kind of up there. All these cars are kind of there. And maybe that will be the rest of the season. But if this McLaren car can be this good and dominant for the rest of the year, it is not out of the world that Lando wins this WDC. It's just not. It's just not out of the question. He won by 22.8 seconds today. He was in qualifying 0.3 ahead of Max, 0.3 ahead of Max. It was a dominant performance besides, and we will get into it. Don't think I'm not going to get into fucking turn 1. But, it was a dominant performance. You can't poo-poo that. It was.
He can drive fast.
Yes.
But he doesn't string it all together. He doesn't.
He's stringing most of it together. He's stringing.
Yes.
Yeah, but Matt, he won by 22 seconds. You might want to criticize the one thing, but it was like he had the faster car. He didn't let it fucking phase him. He caught Max 18 laps in, and then he built a fucking huge lead on him. Like, okay, he won the fucking race in a dominant fashion. So who cares? He can lose every turn. If this car is what this car is, he can lose every turn one for the fucking rest of the year, and he might still win every race for the rest of the year.
Yeah, but the other cars are not going to be staying still. Mercedes is going to bring up grades. Ferrari's going to bring up grades. I don't think Red Bull is going to lie down. I think Monza is going to be. I don't think Red Bull is going to be as shitty in Monza.
Yeah, apparently they're supposed to be better in Monza, but McLaren's had form there as well. They know that track. They won there. Exactly. They were 1-2 there in a year where they had nothing else going on. So I don't know, man. And here's also the key: is that if it's going to happen, let's live in the Lando. What's it going to take for Lando to win this WDC? They talked about Lando. It's a team. You're going to need the team. You're going to need the team, Lando. You win a championship as a team. Like, think of every Sunday, baby. Think of every Sunday, every morning, every meeting we're going to have. Oscar Piastri is going to have to beat Max Verstappen. He
has to beat Max Verstappen.
He's going to have to fucking get in there and be beating Max Verstappen. And if that happens, it's not crazy. He got fastest lap on the last fucking lap today. It should have been a 7-point thing. It was an 8-point thing.
Whatever upgrades they brought, because they brought upgrades. So
their upgrades always slap.
Yeah,
their upgrades are
really slap.
They crush the upgrades.
Yeah. I just kind of got the ick from Lando a little bit because when they had a 5% better car or a 2% better car, he just couldn't do it. So now, yeah, the car is better. It's probably like 10% better. So yes, with a 10% better car, he can definitely do it. Can he do it 10 times in a row? Can he do it 9 times in a row? I don't know.
That's the question.
Because even like Max Verstappen has a Singapore, right? Where they set it up. It's not necessarily doesn't even necessarily have to be his fault. A strategy fuck up, a pit stop fuck up.
Yeah, sure.
Like a poorly timed safety car. Like, it is so hard to win 9 races in a row. Max barely did it.
But you also have to consider that something like that might happen with Max, and that this car, Max is continuing to outdrive this car, and how much longer can he do that without flaw? Who knows on a Singapore or in a Baku where they'll be. They might have their own fuck up, and then this thing is all of a sudden much more.
Well, if he has a DNF, then it's really a while.
Yeah.
If Max has a DNF.
Yeah. And listen, I hear you. Because what was so interesting about Lando's reaction to this win, he seemed so unenthused by it. He was so even when he got out of the car, he just kind of walked over to his people. He's like, "Yeah, what's up?" Fuck yeah. I'm like, dude, this is your second win. The only one. This is your only win on merit. You won in Miami in a kind of you lucked out. This is you started on pole, you didn't lead the whole race, but you ultimately you won this on the strength of your driving and the car in a way that your last win wasn't. So why are you not soaking up this moment? But I think he's so pissed off. What this Simply Lovely, because he said Simply Lovely, huh?
We said huh first, and then he
Oh yeah, you got huh. Was it huh?
It was
Simply
more
Lovely?
it was kind of
or was it Simply Lovely, huh?
I think it might have been both. I don't remember.
Jenny, which was it?
But I do remember it was a little bit of how you like me now.
It was 100% how you like me now.
I was I like you a lot. I like you a lot when you have a car that's by his own. It's so funny because it's by his own sort of judgment about how these things go. It's you had the fastest car, you won, big fucking whoop. That's what he says about Lewis. That's what he said about. He's sort of very dismissive.
Well, yeah, but
Lewis had 100. He's Lewis broke a win. He's 100 podiums. He's he's had the fastest car, whatever. Who gives a fuck? That's been his attitude. Right. It's
he said you had the fastest car for years, man. Now we have the fastest car. So fucking chill. And even on our, it's listen, were we poo-pooing Max when he was having dominant fucking performances when he had the fastest car?
A little bit,
no.
But he was also like, just
we'd seen his mirth in other ways. We saw him in
2021 fight a terrorist campaign against Lewis Hamilton, and then we saw him and then in 2022 it was kind of ish. We saw a little. He went nose to nose with Leclerc, and Leclerc kind of crumbled, and Ferrari kind of crumbled.
Right.
And then 2023, he was like so far ahead of everybody, and he was absolutely. Everyone's like, "Oh, Oscar finished fourth." Like, where was Perez? Was like way further back than that.
Sure,
you know. Yeah. So
I think Oscar's a much better driver than Sergio Perez.
The point is in terms of like how he did against his teammates.
I hear that.
Against the rest, and how consistent he was, led you to think, okay, he has the fastest car, but like, look how fucking he's even maximizing that.
Totally, but I think like this simply look because I looked at it. It's simply lovely, huh? He said it after simply lovely, huh? Which it was fucking fighting words. That was shots fired, brat, dude. It was fucking like, and the thing is like he's writing a check with that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Why are you putting more pressure on yourself, bro?
But here's the thing, like, part of me, like, I'm wanting Lando to get into this fucking place where I think it's cool if he can cash the check. It's not cool if he can't cash the check.
I think
if you go, hey, I'm going to take a half-court shot, everyone, come watch me take a half-court shot, and then you airball it, then you look lame. But if you do it and you hit it, then all of a sudden you're a fucking legend. So he's writing a check. Now, the question is, will he be able to cash it?
Well, it's also the question of he's so social media savvy.
Yeah.
That he understands that, like, he'll do numbies this weekend if he says it. Like, that would be fun if I won.
Well, he knows that people will talk about that. He knows what he's doing.
Like, he'll win the cycle. Like, he will maximize the Twitter, TikTok, you and me fucking talking about it.
Yeah.
He'll do numbies.
I mean, yeah, certainly that's everyone's talking about that.
Right.
But it's like not like cute attention. It's fucking like, it's an obnoxious thing to do and say.
I don't think, has it been received obnoxiously? On one
think
level, it's not that deep. I don't think it's that deep.
I don't think it's that deep either, but I think, it's like, and obviously there's like people everywhere, people are accused. These are the fucking DTS fans wanting to make something out of nothing. But you know what? They said, but guess what? They also said that Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon why does everyone care about their personal lives? They like they're professionals. They'll be fine. Look what the fuck happened. Let's fucking not pretend like these guys don't have relationships, and doing something like that and saying something like that is pointed. It's clearly fucking pointed.
Yeah, when I'm playing video games, I'm like, and I'm talking shit, I'm like, I better win this fucking game.
Exactly.
Yeah, I better win this game.
Jenny put in the chat when Babe Ruth fucking pointed to the fucking home thing, and then you better hit that fucking home run, dude. So, Lando, listen, simply lovely, huh? You better win this fucking championship now. You better win this championship now. Like, but seriously, like, you better win. This guy's this guy has been dominant since the end of 2021, and he won that season in a fucking epic way, showing his fucking mirth, and then spent the next 2.5 years completely dominating this sport. And then the second year on top of the mountain, you're saying it's hey, your turn's over, bitch. That's what that's what that moment felt like. I'm going to take your fucking catchphrase as I win? It's fucking
one time. Just one
words.
time. I win
second time, babe. And I called that he was going to get 2 wins. Let's not forget the predictions. Yeah, everyone's fucking loving that. And you said he wasn't going to get shit. You're looking
I'm wondering, does this shit talk make him look cool, or does it make him look like the little brother a little bit still?
It is cool if you can win. It's like remains to be seen. That's what it is. Listen, you can watch fighter press conferences and they're just going back and forth, and like someone can win the press conference and then lose the match, and who gives a fuck about what they said? But if they win the match and they knock a motherfucker out, then all of a sudden you look back at what they said in the press conference and you go, that guy was fucking stoned.
But it's the Key and Peele sketch where it's just like the guy who's talking shit. There's the guy who's talking shit, and there's the other one who's just like, I just want to pray to God, for to give me the strength. And you're like, I'm scared of the God guy. That's terrifying. Of course. You think Max deeped it? I don't think Max cares.
Max doesn't care. And I think that there's an element with these guys, on some level, they all forgive a lot in the heat of battle. They'll forgive like people's, that was out there on the track. It was in the heat of the moment, like whatever. I think that there is an understanding with that. But, let's talk. They were besties. They were on the fucking PJ. Like he's not on Max's PJ anymore. Okay. That's just not happening. And I think that clearly on some level, he's been rubbed the wrong way by like Max in this year and what happened probably in Austria and, and Max's Simply Lovelies over the last however long have probably like fucking irked a lot of these guys. You say it as like, this is Max. Look how classy Max is being, but there's there's like,
no, there's a two-facedness to it.
Tea, how easy was it for me to beat the shit out of all of you?
No. There is, but there's also like, I will say that it's funny that when he says Simply Lovely, because it's usually after, like, he's probably been screaming at someone.
Yeah, sure.
Because something hasn't been working or what the fuck. Right. I don't know what's engine setting. But when it's all done, he lets go.
Sure.
You
see it as that. I would see it a little bit as like, even though he was screaming, it was just another walk in the park. How lovely was.
Never doubted us for a second, guys. Love you guys.
But like, it's not for that. It's like, if after the victory, you're not like out of breath, oh, what a hard fought battle. And it's like, oh no, it's just like kind of taking a light shit. That's how easy that was. That just comes out clean, don't have to wipe, fucking hits the toilet and splashes a little bit of water where it's supposed to go, and you get that little, Simply Lovely. Vankers, as you know, we have teamed up with BetMGM this season. They are our presenting sponsor. And in fact, today, because we're recording this on Sunday, I put $100 on Lando Norris to win this race. And guess what? I won 185 because he was plus 185. And I did that on BetMGM. And if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code DADDY and you will get up to $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code DADDY. Deposit at least $10 and place a wager on any game. You will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure that you use the bonus code DADDY when you sign up. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and over. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY for New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Indiana. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code DADDY and get your $1,500 first bet offer today. Now back to the show.
Yeah.
But you can tell, let's do the cool down room.
Max seems pretty chill. The person who was like having a fucking meltdown was Leclerc. When he looked over at Max, he goes, how much did they win by? Max was like 20, 22, 22 seconds. And Leclerc was like, oh my God. Oh my God. He was giving Jeffrey Tambor, I have the worst fucking attorneys. Yeah. Like from Arrested Development. He was so shook. And Max was like, I know, dude.
Yes.
Leclerc's like,
dude,
I can't believe.
Yeah, the body language was just so clear. He was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Just when it's like, it's ding dong, the king is, the witch is dead of Max. And now it's just like, oh fuck, now there's just a new witch in town.
This fucking, and then Lando kind of like strolls in like, la-di-da, and he's like, the two of them are sitting. And Lando's just like, I don't need to sit. I have all the energy in the world. Because this was a simply
And they were like asking about it. He's like, and you set fastest lap? He was like, yeah, full deployment. Full. He said something like, full deployment. Yep.
Yeah.
I really let it rip there on that last lap.
Because Leclerc, the precursor to that was like, he's like, what was that last lap? And Lando was like, I think like 13.8, I guess.
Yeah.
13.8.
He is so fucking funny because he is like Leclerc times 10 when he's sitting in the P3 chair. He's like,
yeah, totally.
He's not even making words. Leclerc was like trying to make conversation. He's like, he wanted to yawn is what he wanted to do.
Yeah, totally.
13.8. Fucking full deployment.
Oh just thought
I'd
throw that in there, just get a couple.
Every day I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence. That was the vibe.
But Max also, the second Lando walked in, Max was like, wheel spin, huh?
Wheel spin, right in his head.
Remember when you were a little bitch earlier? Don't forget.
Remember the thing that we could all control equally and had nothing to do with the car and was just skill?
Well, let's talk about this start. It was comical.
I was laughing. Thank God for the start. Otherwise it would have been literally the most boring race of all time.
Yeah, it was a snoozer. It was a snoozer in general. But, Julian Palmer, after qualifying, was like, so Lando, like, hey, things are looking up pretty short straight here into turn one.
Like, you have no way you could fuck this one up. And Lando started laughing.
Yeah.
He was like, I have no idea why you're bringing that up.
Yeah, why would you bring that up?
Why would you bring that up? I don't see.
Mr. Palmer.
Yeah.
But hey, he found a way to fuck it up.
Like you like to say, Brian, when there's a will, there's a way. If he wanted to fuck up that start, but then Oscar had a bad start too. Oscar had a perfect start. I think he started P7 or P8 and then shot his way up.
Totally, yeah.
So he had a great start, actually.
He had an engine penalty, I think. Started from the pit lane, I believe.
I feel like Leclerc also knocked off his whole wing, if I'm remembering. So he lost a lot of downforce.
Well, Leclerc had everyone was talking, the people in the know were talking about what a drive Leclerc and Sainz had today. What a drive from Leclerc. He did. I guess that car was kind of nowhere, and the two of them
was nowhere in qualifying. I think it was okay. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, everyone was talking about like this was an all-time. Oh, this is like, if you really know, this is actually an all-time drive from Leclerc.
It's such it's like the F1 hipster thing to do. It's being like, no, the real drive was Leclerc from P7 to P3.
Everyone's like, I've never.
If you look at his lap times, you can really analyze it. You look at the sector 2. What he was doing in those sectors over there around Tarzan and this make blibbity bloop to turn.
Yeah, he was riding the curbs. Yeah, it was actually, if you really
full deployment.
Full deployment. 13.8, I think. Maybe.
God, it was he was able to keep Piastri behind him in a car that we are seeing is quick.
Yeah.
20 seconds ahead of Verstappen. So,
yeah.
You could argue that McLaren screwed that up. And that's the other thing that you have to think about.
Well, they left him out for so long.
Well, they didn't.
And I know they covered Russell
enough. They didn't even leave him out long enough to give him a real tire off. It was it seemed like they're neither here nor there.
Yeah.
I'm not obviously a strategy expert, but that's what it seemed like to me. And I'm like, if you want your boy to win the WGC,
yeah.
Oscar was not really in that fight to get Verstappen, but he might be in later races, and you have to nail 100%. His strategy to make sure he gets ahead of Verstappen.
100%.
They let Leclerc undercut him.
Right.
And they let Russell undercut him. And now he got by Russell, but he wasn't able to get by Leclerc.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think part of it was Lando did a great job, but I think the other part of it was that Oscar didn't have as much clean air. He had that little bit of clean air, and he was going pretty quick. He had like a 12-second gap when he pitted. He pitted into like a nice, and he was setting fastest laps. He was going pretty quick, and he got by Russell, but he just kind of ran out of that McLaren car. It's kind of like how that Red Bull car used to be, where it doesn't like to follow, but when it's in clear air, it's just a fucking rocket ship.
Yeah.
So I think part of the reason why Piastri struggled was because he was behind guys who were pretty quick.
Right.
And he just wasn't doing well in traffic.
Yeah, I think that car, is best suited in clean air. Because the second
and he probably doesn't have the same car as Lando, probably.
Yeah,
probably didn't get that
probably different chassis, definitely, 100%.
Probably from last year, the car he was driving. I mean,
oh well, the race that Zach Brown's at, all of a sudden Lando has a car that's 22 seconds ahead. Interesting. That
can I just say it doesn't feel like a McLaren win unless Zach is there.
Totally.
Like without like. When he was there going, yeah. I was like, there, yeah. Now it feels like they won. With this just
he was so like he was being all squished by the F1 photographers. I was like, get out of this man's way. Give him the space.
That was the other thing I wanted to say. My first, I started realizing, it's a real status symbol in F1 when the camera's on you, not to fucking react. Toto is the king of that. Mm-hmm. The camera's on him. It doesn't matter what kind of ugly face he's making, how the headset is on his head. He's just whatever Fabissimo. He's like, I am not going to adjust just because millions of people are going to watch me. Whereas like most people, when the camera's on them, are like, They zoomed in on like one of the I think like the head of Mercedes at one point.
Right.
And he just didn't move.
Yeah.
He just was like, I think that's
a business guy thing. That's a business guy thing. Like rich people who aren't famous are like, no one look, you will get nothing. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's a very it's like it's like kids that like, like us at the thing, like, hey, we're fucking nobodies. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, it's just like you treat it like a fan cam.
Right.
Which is what you did when the camera did reach us when we were in that paddock that one time.
Yeah.
And I thought one of my parents was dead because my phone like exploded. I was like, my parents are dead.
Yeah, and they told us like, don't take out your phones, don't film anything. So you just had to sit there with your phone buzzing. Just
I was like, I've lost everyone that's close to me because my phone's never buzzed like this before. And then I looked, it was like, you're on TV. But I want to. This is this is a tangent. This has nothing to do with the race, but. In Lando's celebration, we saw him hug his dad, who was like inside. Like everyone's outside, his team's outside. He's hugging everybody outside. His dad's inside.
Yeah, dude.
Team outside, dad inside. And I was just thinking, how are we feeling about dads in the garage? How are we feeling about dads in the garage? You're saying this is a real sport. There is no other sport where the fathers are in the locker room. Where the fathers are sitting on the bench with the team.
It's so
crazy. It's fucking nuts. And you know what? I know people, it's like at least Jos Verstappen drove an F1. Like he feasibly could have something to add. Maybe. Carlos Sainz Sr., one of the greatest drivers, maybe in his discipline to ever live. Maybe you could argue, okay, maybe this guy can be in the locker room.
But even that, it's like, dude, it's like, is Del Curry on the bench with the fucking Warriors?
No.
But here's the thing. No! After the game, here's the thing.
But Adam Norris, who's just a business, who's just a rich guy.
Yeah, he's fucking.
What's he doing with the headset in next to the mechanics? I'm just projecting a lot because I know if my parents were like standing right outside where I was doing my podcast, I would be fucking stressed out. Right. I told my parents, like my parents always want to sit in the front row for our shows. I'm like, don't sit in the front row. You're not because I could see you and it bothers me.
Right.
Sit 3 rows back because I don't want to fucking look at you.
Well, I mean, yes. 100%. Now they're in the car. They're in the car, and then they're in the fucking. There's also no other sport where they bring dipshit podcasters like us into the fucking. Hey, it's halftime. Come into
very back.
Come into the locker room.
They bring us to the very back. We're like we're in like a balcony, kind of overlooking it a little bit.
Yeah, we're like in like those old surgery rooms where everyone's like watching
it's like an operating
them perform open heart surgery. Yeah,
he's literally there having more access than the guys who worked on the car.
Yeah, same with Carlos Dos, dude, the agent. In what world is your fucking sports agent on the bench
I don't like
with you
that.
during the Warriors?
I don't like it.
I hear that. Keep them separate.
Keep it separate.
However, they do. What is weird is that, like, you know, it's like after a game, like the family can come onto the court, you know, and they can like hang out with you after the thing. It's weird that like Zach Brown has to be like fucking photographers. I'm like, yeah, I'm behind. Hey, Lando, it's me, the owner of the team. Hey, it's me, the CEO. It's like, how can he get on the other side of the fucking barriers?
No, but could you imagine like if Lando did something stupid? And Zach, or was they're actually not together, but because he's on the pit wall. But if somebody did something stupid, like you have to watch what you're saying because the dude's dad is like right there.
Yeah, sure.
Like, his dad is right there. I was like, what? I should be able to say to be pissed at a guy in my locker room.
Gunter didn't care about that shit, dude. With Mazepin, that's why everyone fucking hates you.
Yeah.
What else from this race? I mean, there's news outside of this. I mean, this race was kind of a snoozer. We didn't really learn. Obviously the big takeaway is McLaren were in a whole other fucking world. Jack Doohan, official at Alpine.
Man, oh man. Jack Doohan. I've been hearing so much about this guy.
Yeah, dude.
Like how he deserves a seat in F1. What was his F2 career? So he finished 6th his first year, which is decent.
Yep.
And he finished 3rd his second year in 2023. Right. Let's see who beat him that year.
Frederic Vesti and Theo Pourchaire.
Well, Theo was in his 3rd year.
He beat Ollie Behrman. He beat the king Ollie Behrman, who was already on the fucking grid.
Well, that was Ollie's first year. So, I mean, you can kind of...
For sure.
That's sort of the difference there.
He
had a good F2 career. It wasn't like, oh my God, this fucking guy is undeniable, you know?
Right. But here's the thing. Comes from a racing family.
Good pedigree.
His dad is a legendary, what the fuck is it called? MotoGP.
Jenny wrote major loss for F1 TV.
Yeah. Well, I saw him in Silverstone, and I was like, "Ooh, there's TikTok. I was like, that's a cute kid right there."
Well, he's cute. He's like the perfect level of attractiveness for this generation of kids.
Totally.
You know?
Totally.
He's just like approachably fucking handsome.
Totally.
He's got, he's hitting that Paul Mescal.
Yeah. He's got the strong nose.
I started to think about this. I was like, wouldn't I have done so much better if I was like one generation back? You know? And then and then I thought about it because I was watching Love Is Blind. And it was like some hot people who were like, so many people want to go out with me because of the way I look. Like, so I do Love Is Blind. So like, people love me for my personality. And I started watching it for 5 minutes. So it wasn't really fair, the analysis. Sure. I was like, their personalities suck. Like,
right. Because everyone's wanted them from the time that they were young.
Right.
So
right. I'm like, God is never fair. Like, right. No, God is always fair. Sorry. So like these hot people there, I'm like, just leave. Like, why would you go on Love Is Blind? Like, you don't have a good personality. Like,
yeah, you're playing in the wrong fucking.
So I was like, and then I said, I'm way more interesting than these people. I was like, I would kill it on Love Is Blind. And then Joanna said, my girlfriend turned to me and she goes, you would do terribly on Love Is Blind. I went on a second date with you in spite of many things that you said.
Yeah, sure.
And then it made me think, which drivers, I think we've probably done this before, but which drivers do you think would do well on Love Is Blind?
Yeah, we have done this. I forget who we said. Let's see. I think Albon would do well. Max would not do well.
Fernando would be great. I think we've said this. Fernando would have the girl naked in the pod.
Yeah.
It's like, how did she send you selfies? How did that happen? How did that happen?
He's like, yeah,
just
I burrowed
what
the
you
hole.
said. We've done this.
I burrowed a hole underneath.
I'm so fucking horny. Need to put me in a cage.
Charles would be crying a lot.
Be getting vulnerable. But that's good, right? That's good in the pods.
That's what they say. In the pods, it's all about, like, listen, like, in regular society, like, men aren't allowed to be vulnerable, but here, we're trying to break. It's the experiment.
Every time I look over, they're all crying. I'm like, what is this? What is going on?
Well, they are being, like, sleep deprived and, like, tortured in some ways. There's a bunch of fucking... The behind the scenes stuff there is not good.
Oh,
it's
really?
bad. Yeah, apparently. Wait, but Jack Doohan... Apparently, first off, I think that we should do a deep dive on Jack Doohan for the page. We should get to know this kid.
Okay.
Because we should figure out what he's all about, what the deal is. But apparently, he and Mick Schumacher did like a fucking closed door shootout for this seat.
No way.
Yeah. This is
and it was just like whoever has the faster lap time gets the seat.
Yeah. This is from Crash.net F1 News. Jack Doohan has described his F1 shootout test against his friend Mick Schumacher as strange, but insisted he kept it business as they fought over the second Alpine seat. Earlier this week, Alpine announced Doohan would complete the driver's lineup. He's impressed the team during his stint as a test and reserve driver, often doing crucial work in the team's simulator. The pair tested an 2022 Alpine F1 car in July, and while the key details of the test have been kept under wraps, the French outfit's decision to offer Doohan over Schumacher suggests the Australian impressed once again. Speaking to the media, including Crash.net at Zandvoort, he reflected on the test. It was strange for me. I kept it business. I didn't think anything of it any other way. That at the end of the day, I'm going to hop in the car and drive as fast as I can. It doesn't matter who is next to me. It doesn't mean I'm going to be any different outside the car when I hop in. I have the mindset to be as fast as I can. Do it regardless of who's next to me. So I guess it was a bit of a coin toss there between these two guys. And I'm kind of obsessed with that.
Could you imagine?
So intense.
I mean, that's basically what a callback is, right?
Yeah, that's what audition. It's like, all right.
Same level of intensity.
I mean, you know,
same level of it's probably down to you
psychosis.
And one other guy sometimes.
Yeah. Definitely.
And it used to be what in the old days. Do you ever go in anymore, Brian? Like physically go in?
Very rarely, yeah.
It
For
used
theater,
to be.
You go in.
Used to be you sit in a room with a bunch of guys who look like you.
Oh yeah.
And you just go in one at a time.
Yep.
And wasn't there?
And it's shitty, like paper mache walls. You can hear their entire audition beforehand. You hear everything.
Yeah. So you're in similar equipment, which is like you're all the same type.
Yeah.
And it's just, can you fucking deliver?
And these are two fucking and what's funny about this? Like, this is like two actors whose dads are famous.
Yeah.
Famous actors.
They're both nepos.
These are two nepo. It's like, oh well my grandpa's Laurence Olivier. Oh well my grandpa's fucking Peter O'Toole. Let's fucking go toe to toe here.
Yes.
Let's fucking. So there was no, you couldn't say that, well, one Nepo baby beat a not Nepo baby. These were two Nepo babies going fucking toe to toe for this seat. And Jack Doohan, better of the Nepo babies.
But probably doesn't have as good of Nepo powers in F1.
Sure.
Everyone's like, that's Mick Doohan's son. I'm like, who?
Yeah, well.
But apparently if you're into like motorbikes, he's the shit.
I also think that sometimes the tangential relation is good. You know, like fucking Carlos Sainz Sr. wasn't in F1, but is a legend.
Yeah, you can kind of make your own space.
Right. It's actually I think worse if you have I think it's actually worse if you have the like, and this, we raise the same discipline and here's what it is.
Yeah. Like look at LeBron's son. Jesus.
Right.
That's pressure.
Yeah. If he was playing baseball, it'd be like, all right, you're making your own way, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doing your own thing. What else is there even to be talked about here? I mean,
Pierre Gasly. Well, you know, Jack Doohan, he's gonna. Pierre Gasly's had a great race. He's looking like he's gonna he's going to take a. We're going to see how he's going to have a test on his hands. I don't know why I had a stroke just then, but
right, we'll see what he's made of.
You see what he's made of.
Gasly will be a good test.
Gasly will be a solid test. He had a very good race. He was in a hurry. He almost took off the hands of one of his mechanics.
Yep. Yeah.
Remember that?
Yep. That was wild.
That was fucking crazy.
That was crazy.
I also, how do you think George Russell must be feeling? What is that? What the hell is even that? Hamilton qualifies like shit. George Russell qualifies well.
Yep.
And they end up right next to each other because George Russell cannot budget his tires.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I think I've probably said it before, but my sister is on the spectrum, and not that long ago we gave her $20 to go to McDonald's, and she went to McDonald's and she spent $7 on what she wanted and threw the $13 she didn't need in the trash. And we said, Samantha, you got to get better with your budgeting. That's George Russell with his tires.
Right.
It's crazy.
Now, and here's the thing. Your sister actually fucking, rebellious and just kind of like, whoa, actually, you're right. It's sunk cost fallacy. You were ready to spend $20. Who gives a fuck what I spent it on? Who cares if it's in the trash now? There's actually something beautiful there. George Russell, he just doesn't. It's that seems to be like the thing that really gets the young bucks is the tires. It's what gets these young kids. Yeah.
I mean, but George's been in the game like 4 or 5 years now.
I know, but it's like of a generation. I think that there's like a maybe like
Lando seems to have it under control.
Yeah. But like
Lando has got other problems, but he seems to have that one under control. They're not a monolith, these kids.
That's Piastri's knock. That's Russell's knock. I think sometimes it can be Charles's knock.
Is it his knock, or is he more just like a disaster artist?
He'll just throw his fucking
car into a wall, or like crash into lose a front wing, or he'll disappear in races too. Yeah. Like Leclerc will just be like, "Where the fuck was Leclerc this race?"
Right.
That's kind of and I'm a Leclerc fan, and yes, it hurts.
Shout out, Daddy.
And but today.
Well, he had the grown out goatee. He's rocking he did not shave that shit. It was which on close up I was like, ugh? But then on the podium I was like, oh, looking good with the face hair. This race was boring when this is what we're talking about. I mean, this was what's so funny about this race. What's interesting about this race, and then we'll get into our awards and we'll get into the rest of it. But like this race, literally itself was boring. Now, the implications that it has over the season are big. This is an interesting race for over the course of the season. A boring race where Lando wins is actually good for the overarching arch, but today was just this is a fucking snoozer.
Yeah, these fucking street tracks. Oh, wait a minute, it was a purpose-built track. It's only there because of Max. They're like, well, we gotta put something. We gotta do something in the Netherlands. The fucking Max. Yeah. So, but you guys can just go to Spa. Shut the fuck up. It's not that far.
Yeah, there's tons of places that you can go.
It's like most people have to travel in the United States, have to travel pretty far to see an F1 race. You live in New York, you have to travel to Florida.
Right. They're like, it's a U.S. race. How easy is it for you guys? We're like, well, the United States is the same size as all of Europe.
Right.
And so, if you lived in, Norway, going to Monza
Florida
is kind of like living in Chicago and going to Austin.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Let's get into our motherfucking
one more thing that I hated.
Yes.
One more thing actually 2 more things.
Yes.
Want to talk about this gimbal cam that sucked.
Ooh. What?
I hated the gimbal cam.
Why do you not like the gimbal cam?
Because it was making me dizzy. And it was look how the car moves. And Brundle didn't like it. Brundle's like, that is not what it looks like in a Formula One car. It's just
I thought it looked sick.
I'm just watching the car like, vroom, it just was like disorienting. Guys, comment.
Yeah, shout out.
Smash the subscribe button. Smash it. Smash it. And then comment below what you thought of the fucking gimbal cam, which they brought out because these turns are so banked. I didn't like it.
I was kind of here for it. It just seemed like it was better quality, but I was here for it. I saw Brundle. I feel like Brundle and Crofty are a little checked out.
It's a long season.
They're taking races off. I feel like they're like kind of a little bit like at one point like Lando. This was so funny. At one point like Lando like spotted his tire, and Brundle was like, "Oh yeah, well, oh wow, he really spotted." Then he was just like, whatever. It's fine. I was like, Jesus, Brundle.
I find myself flipping back and forth. I'm fighting. I'm having an internal struggle.
I was fighting, and listen, we love them both. I love Crofty, love Brundle. We got to have them on the pod. But at one point, like when I think Lewis was making this, going from the back, and he was passing. He was fighting with Tsunoda,
right?
And Crofty was like, and there he's fighting with Daniel Ricciardo, and then like hey, you can make that mistake. Then they like came back to him and they're like, and here's Lewis still with Daniel Ricciardo. Let's see if he can get it done. And there was like a third time. And he was like, and he gets the pass on Ricciardo. And now he's into 12. And I was like, Crofty, like what? I can see that it's 22. Like this is, and then afterwards he was like, oh, by the way, that was Tsunoda. That was actually Tsunoda there. And I was like, whoopee. I was like, I think I got to go over to Alex Jacks. I got to go over in Coulthard.
Well, sometimes I find myself getting the ick from Coulthard and Jake sometimes. Yeah, not getting the ick, but I'm like, sometimes the energy lags over there. So I'll be like, what's happening over here?
Yeah.
So it's like, I find myself switching.
Well, before we get into our awards, other little piece of news.
Before we get to that, just staying on Crofty and Brundle for a second.
Yeah.
When I was so glad I was on F1 TV was when Alex Albon was like, when there was that whole pileup around Magnussen.
Yes.
And Albon was like, that was really dangerous. Oh my God, that was so dangerous. And then Crofty was like, what was dangerous? I don't see anything. Yeah. And Crofty's like, don't see anything dangerous. Nothing dangerous to me.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that vibe.
That was big dad energy. Like rub some dirt on it. And sometimes Brundle says these things where he's like, seems like another lifetime ago that I drove. Like it doesn't seem real that I drove an F1, which I found so interesting. It seems like it doesn't seem like it was me, but I go home, I got 10 trophies and a broken fucking ankle, and I'm like, yeah, it was me.
Yeah. Well, when I have to go to the doctor twice a year to they're looking to see if my ankle has fully degraded or not, then
it feels real.
We'll see. No, that is me. Listen up, Vankas. We are never wrong, as you know. But when we said that Max was going to win every race and this season was going to be a snooze, we were very, very wrong. The first half of the season has been incroyable. And the excitement doesn't stop here because one of the best and most important races is coming up, the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Ever heard of it? You ever heard us talk about it? We love it. And guess what? We're going to be in Vegas to see all the action live November 21st through November 23rd. Just to recap, last year's race had more than 180 overtakes with top speeds of over 215 miles per hour. That's right. We don't do KPH here. All against the sickest backdrop of the Las Vegas Strip, so you know that this year is going to be Litty McPitty in the pit stops. But the action is not just going to happen on track, because this is Vegas, baby. There's going to be top-tier entertainment and some of the best food and drinks that you've ever had, things that Vegas does better than anywhere else in the world. You're not going to want to miss this, so get your tickets now and experience one of the best races in person. For more details and to buy your tickets, visit the Las Vegas Grand Prix website at f1lasvegasgp.com/tickets. That's f1lasvegasgp.com/tickets. We'll see you there, Vankas.
It does seem weird that like a silly little man, like a sassy little man like that was like giving Schumacher some trouble, you know?
He was really ahead of his time in that way because he's such like a kind of Gen Z-ish. Like he's kind of like in that little like, He would have like a little streaming channel, like he'd be on Twitch. Like if he was born in 2005,
he would give Kai Cenat or whoever a run for his money.
He'd be on Twitch, just like kind of like, and then he's kind of Gen Z.
Yeah, he's sassy.
He's sassy
in like a passive aggressive kind of way.
Like he doesn't want to do social media, but like he knows how to like he doesn't want to do the grid walks, and yet they're amazing.
Yeah.
He knows how to make them incredible. Okay, before we get into our awards, one more piece of news is that there's a rumor that Liam Lawson might get loaned to Williams, and Logan Sargeant might be out pretty soon, and Liam Lawson finishes the year out at Williams.
Yeah, that's pretty huge for our boy, friend of the pod, Liam, who's like,
yep.
I'll see you guys all the time on my fade. I'm like, you excited to see us, or it's just like, oh, swipe. But, I mean, I'm really excited for Liam. I really hope he gets a seat and gets to show his stuff again to Albon. More of a proving ground to him.
Yeah.
Williams is a fucking disaster. That team sucks.
Right.
And by the way, James Val's very telling today on the radio. He slipped up. He goes, what a disastrous weekend for them. They bring upgrades. The upgrades that they bring are illegal. So Albon gets disqualified from quali because their brand new shit is like when you order a new part, I order a TV, I measure, I take out my tape measure, I go, how big, what is the measurement on it? How big is my dresser?
Yep.
I bought a new standing desk component. How big is it? How big is my... First thing I do is I take out the fucking tape measure. How did they fuck that up?
And then
they're getting Carlos Sainz. How did they fuck it up, Brian?
Well, our systems are really they're not. It's actually not my fault. It's the guy before me. Well, it was so
interesting. It was so interesting you say that because he said he was like, well, he said we've had a really tough weekend. First the crash. And then something of our own doing.
Yeah.
Which I was like, whoa.
Right.
Like, we're over here and that Logan, you're just on an island. There's no I in team, but there's a fucking you in Logan Sargeant, I guess. Which is like, it's your fault.
Oh, that he was talking about Logan there.
He said he goes, there was the crash and then there was something of our own doing. Like.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Usually you speak collectively.
I see. That
we had a crash.
Right.
Then we made a mistake. It's like, no. See. There was a crash.
Right.
And then something of our own doing.
Right.
So he kind of bifurcated. I'm really nitpicking there.
Yeah.
But I mean, the guy's getting Carlos Sainz, and it was just like they brought new updates, and it was grand opening, grand closing. Like,
yeah. And then on the broadcast, he was like, it was really like barely like, I mean, a little piece of sandpaper could have, taken this thing out. It's really nothing. Like, certainly, it's barely anything. Like, and it's like, you're the guy who's you're
the data guy.
You're the data guy.
What did you just got? We fucking eyeball? Like,
yeah.
Now you're going by vibes? Now you're the vibe guy?
Just fucking hit it with a hammer, dude. Come on. It's bullshit, man. No, that was crazy. But I think
these technical FIA guys are so technical. Like,
yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, we'll see what happened there. I mean, that crash
was rough.
Totaling your car in FP3 is rough. It's just rough. And at a certain point, they're like, we can't fucking afford to keep this kid on.
Yeah, Martin Brundle was amazing on that.
Right now, they're in ninth.
He said he kept his foot in on the grass, then he turned the wrong way. He went through all the things he did wrong that he was like, he just did everything wrong there.
Yeah. Crazy that he was rivals with Piastri in F3.
Yeah,
because they are on opposite ends.
I think Piastri is Piastri's been quoted as saying I don't get it. Like, this guy was a weapon in F2.
Yeah.
Now was Piastri's first year versus Logan's second year. So you got to keep that under mine.
But then everyone talked about how Logan, they brought him in too early. They're like, they brought him up too young. Like, he wasn't ready for it.
He could have done a year as a a development driver.
Sure. But Williams right now is in 9th with 4 points. Alpine's in 8th with 13. So I guess you bring Lawson in because you're like, maybe there's a chance that we get one place higher. We have a little bit more money to work with next year. That's like why you would do it. Or you just like, you're tired of wasting money on broken chassis from free practice.
You're not only not getting a point, right? It's costing you money because you have to fucking replace shit. It was so iconic that like the qualifying he didn't get to do was the one time he actually started ahead of Albon. Because an Albon had he's just better off not going out there at this point.
Right.
And then Albon somehow got ahead of him anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, he technically outqualified Albon by like not showing up.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our awards for the Dutch GP. Okay, Daddy of the Day.
Daddy of the Day.
Oh, you know what it is? Inspector Fernando. Fernando Alonso there's a camera on board that someone ripped. They saw this, that Fernando Alonso was like, after the race, was like looking underneath the car, underneath the McLaren.
Which car? Oh, the McLaren.
Yeah. And he's like looking, and he's like crouched, and he's like looking. And then he's like, what he wants to see is lower than that. So then he's like, all right, let me get in a new position. And then he's literally like lying on the floor. Like
on his back or on his stomach?
Like on his side, kind of. And he's just like, he's looking at the shit, and it was so amazing. It
was like a dad taking a look at your. Let me see what's going on down here.
Yeah, let me see what's going on. Let me take a fucking gander on the hood. No, he was on all fours, literally on his hands and knees, like getting his head next to the fucking thing, looking underneath McLaren's car with a tweet saying, "Fernando knows that McLaren is illegal." But he's just trying to fucking get a little edge. He's like, how the fuck are these guys doing this?
I was like, dude, you're in fucking P10 right now. Why are you sweating the McLarens?
Well, he's like, I got to find this and talk to Newey.
Yeah.
Because Newey's coming my way. So maybe we can get something
true.
going for
always play the That's Alonso, always playing the long game.
That's what he
does.
Best
for him in the long run.
I got to say about Alonso, though, like the Aston Martin team needs to stop giving their drivers race suits that change color when they're wet, because it always looks like he's pissed and shit himself after races, and that needs to stop.
Think that he might. I wouldn't put it by. Oh, this is so. I'm watching it now. This is so fucking funny.
Yeah,
he's craning his neck.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Just no shame. Just full downward dog looking at this fucking. Looking at the taints of this. Of I think Oscar's car.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Also, honorable mention to Zach Brown, Daddy Zach, back in the fucking
making sure
saddle.
The kids behave,
making sure that Lando gets that victory. Okay, hottest moment of the day.
What was sexy? I mean, Gasly was sexy. Gasly was mixing it up today, making a lot of passes, making a lot of moves around the outside.
Yeah. Also, that moment where all there were the 6 cars just fucking going wheel. You just fucking. I was like, "What is this, Formula 2?
Yeah,
is F3 I'm watching."
Yeah, that was crazy. That
Crofty, I think, was like, "Is this? This looks like the Indy 500 here."
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was thrilling. I don't know what happened with K-Mag there. That was also noted that they were all laughing at K-Mag in the cooldown room.
Yeah.
Lando goes 4. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. Let's see. Radio of the day. I mean, obviously.
It's got to be Simply
Lovely, huh?
Yeah.
Payback of the day brought to you by Cash App. Who got payback today? Well,
feels like it's Lando Norris for now.
It's Lando Norris for now. And listen,
y'all thought I was a choke artist, but I won this one time.
That's right. And I've written a big check, which is that I am taking Max Verstappen's fucking catchphrase. This is my catchphrase now. When I win every race by 20 seconds, this is what I'll say it too.
Brian, he didn't write a big check. He composed a huge Cash App transaction.
That's right.
Did he Cash App a payment that his balance can afford?
Right.
That rolls off the tongue.
Vankas, not only does Cash App sponsor our favorite perfectly branded Formula One team, but they also make it easier for you to save money so you can do things that you love, like going to an F1 race. Boobies. Listen, to be honest, we thought that Cash App was just a way to send people money, right? You just send people money. Hey, Cash App me. Okay, I got you. But actually, it's a faster and simpler way to bank. You can start saving with as little as $1 with no hidden fees, no minimum balance requirements, and no account fees. Minimum balance requirements is crazy. It's just like, let me live. And Cash App lets you do that. And we all know that overdraft fees make no sense. Why are you charging someone if they don't have any money? Plus, when you deposit $300 or more in paychecks, you can get up to $50 in free overdraft coverage. It pays to get paid on Cash App. So go download the app today. Now back to the show. That was fucking smooth as shit, baby. All right, Karen of the day.
No overdraft fees.
That's right.
So he could. True. So actually, if he was Cash Apping the statement, there would be no penalty there.
That's right.
Karen of the day.
There kind of weren't that many Karens.
Wasn't that much complaining and bitching.
Yeah, everyone was kind of...
Let me do some research.
There was a lot of discussion about wind. It was funny, like, that Lando was like... Lando's leading the race, and then all of a sudden we're talking about wind. I was like, I remember this when Max used to talk about wind. There's something about being 20 seconds ahead of everyone else that like makes you really have moments with the wind.
You just become Pocahontas and you start fucking talking to the birds and the wind.
Yeah.
And start to be able to paint with all the colors.
Got to paint with all the colors.
Yeah. We got to give a Karen. What are the people online saying?
Let's see. The people online were saying Lando for saying simply lovely. Lewis saying we're so slow in the straights.
He always says shit like that.
Lance Stroll slowed down at the end, so Daniel Ricciardo couldn't get to Hulkenberg, saying fuck that guy. I don't know about that. Someone saying Alonso dropping on the ground to check the McLaren floor and park for Mays. Maybe Daddy and Karen of the day. These floors are illegal. These floors are illegal.
I'm going to call the police. These cars are elite, and it's riding too low.
Yeah.
Someone could get hurt out there.
And someone said the FIA for disqualifying Alex. No, them's just the rules.
The FIA being Karens. What? Like they are professional Karens. That's their job.
That's their job. And our final red flag of the day.
I still want to go with McLaren. Building the fastest car on the grid. Congratulations. Being like, so who are we racing today?
Yeah.
What do you think?
That really was crazy. Brundle was like, why would they say that? I don't know who that's for.
Because I'm always looking at Brundle or Palmer or Croft or DC, right? I'm like, surely that's code for something. They're like, that's not code for shit. That literally is straight up. They're asking him, who do you think we're racing? Would you ever ask Max Verstappen that? No. Who's in second place?
Right.
I don't know.
No, they just, it's like, yeah. But like,
also, he wouldn't know.
Right.
You could ask him, what's your pace?
It's pretty close to checking. We are checking. It's not far
off.
But
at least checking is like they're asking you a question and you have to think about it.
Yeah.
Whereas they're just peppering him with questions like, we don't know. What are your thoughts on who are we racing?
Especially when it's like you had to know. It's like everyone was taught, like even in the pre-race thing, it's like the word on the street was that the McLarens were going to be fast as shit, and that this upgrade was really good. They looked really good on the long stints. They looked great on the mediums. Like McLaren was the team to beat, and it seemed
you're
like
on pole by a third by 0.3 seconds.
Everyone
on a short track.
Everyone knew that McLaren was the team to beat except for McLaren, who then asked Lando, "Who should we? Yeah, what do you think? Who are we going up against?"
They're they're scared of the moment, dude.
Yeah. So McLaren, You gotta help Lando cash this check because he's written
He's on his own with this one. I'm not helping him. I'd be happy. I'd be happy if he just won like 3 more races. I think that would be good. If he could do that, and then he's got a real. Then he could probably walk. I mean, unless Piastri really takes that next step.
Yeah,
it seems like he took a half a step this year. If Piastri could do another half a step, maybe we got a real battle. But might be his to lose next year.
Seems like right now it's McLaren's. Next year is McLaren's to lose as of this moment. Okay, fuck, marry, kill the podium. Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc.
Killing Leclerc. He seems miserable. Mm-hmm. He's a really sad guy. Mm-hmm. I guess I'm fucking Max, marrying Lando. I don't know.
Whoa. Interesting.
Do I want to marry Max?
I think you want to marry Max. Max seems like he'd be a good husband. I'm marrying Max.
Okay. I'll marry Max too.
And I'm fucking Leclerc and Lando is on death row, and if he can win this season, he gets off.
All right.
Yeah, that just about does it for us, Vankas. We got Vanka Hours coming this Thursday. Also, we are going to be in Austin Sunday night, probably around 9 p.m. We're finalizing the details right now. We will be doing a live show after the Austin GP. Be there or be square. So stay tuned for that. Monza predictions.
I think Lando can win this one.
Look at this guy. He's changed his tune. I don't
think he can win 9 in a row.
I've worn him down. I think that he can win 6 of the last 9. And if Max has a couple bad runs in this 6 of the last 9, then it's his for the taking.
I don't know, dude.
I've been right so far.
Takes a lot. It takes a lot. Dude, you switch every week. You're like, it's over.
I know.
Lando can't win. He's fucking basket case.
Because I know that he listens to the pod, and it's called reverse psychology. That's when I do it, dude.
You should get rid of Adam Norris.
That's
Put
right.
Brian Muller in there.
That's right. I think that Lando is going to win in Monza, and I think it's going to be a 1-2 for McLaren. That's what I think.
Ooh, I like this. Me likes the sound of that.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
All right.
All right, Vankas. Until next time.
Goodbye, Vankas.